Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we are going to learn how to crochet step by step this beautiful unicorn costume. Of course you can use it as an everyday dress for your girls. I know many of our daughters love unicorns. So we are going to see how to create it. Now in the beginning of the video you are going to find a chart for all sizes up to 12 years old for the chest circumference, the opening of the sleeve, and the total length needed for each size for the skirt to reach up to the knee. Also, you will find the setup needed to start our project with, because this is a top-down project. Okay, I'm crocheting for 10 years old. I used a total of 7 skeins of the yarn that we're going to see in a second. I used a total of 7 skeins of the pink and 1 skein for each of the other colors used on the unicorn. Okay, now this is how our project looks from the top going to the bottom. Okay, oops, sorry. And the skirt how it looks here in the end. Now because this costume I made for my daughter for her Mardi Gras party at school that they had back in February, because I was trying to finish it in the last 5 minutes before she leaves for the party, some steps are left out from the video, but I explain in the end step by step how you can go about and make them. Okay, so the steps that you're going to see that are left out are the last rows of the rib stitch here, the pom-poms, and the last row, the colorful last rows of the skirt over here. But I am going to explain in the end how to work those steps as well. Okay, so now let's see the material that I used and how to start our project. So the yarn that I'm going to use is Alize Baby Best, which is one of the best yarn to crochet baby projects or children projects. And the main color that I'm going to use is the pink one, because I'm making the top part, the skirt, the sleeves, the hood, everything with the pink color. And I'm only going to use 1 skein of the other colors, where in order to have a nice, rainbow touch on the costume, on the hood, I also, in the rib stitch, I also work 1 row with each color, and I also work 1 row with each color in the bottom of the skirt. Okay. And the crochet hook that I'm going to use is a 4.5mm crochet hook. Okay, so let's see how to start. Let's see now what the setup is and how we can use it for all sizes. I'm crocheting for 8 to 10 years old, and as my chart says, I need to start my setup this way. So I'm going to need a total of 70 chains to start with. And the way that I come up with those 70 chains are as follows. I have 11 stitches in the beginning, then I have an increase, 11 stitches, increase, 22 stitches, increase, 11 stitches, increase, 11 stitches, and you close your work. So the first 11 stitches are half of the back, the next 11 stitches are my sleeve, the 22 stitches are the front, the other 11 stitches are the sleeve again, and the other 11 stitches are the other half of the back. So when you add those 2 stitches, which is half and half of the back, so when you add them together you have all the stitches for the back part, they need to equal the stitches on the front part of your project, because they need to be equal in order for the sweater part to be correctly. Okay, so you want equal the front piece and the back piece of the project. So let's count our stitches. I need 11 plus 11 22 plus 22 44 plus 11 55 plus 11 66, and a total of 4 stitches that I need, 1 2 3 4 for my increases. So this is how I come up with my 70 chains. Okay, so let's start. I have already started with my 70 chains. We're going to work the first 2 rows together, and then the rest of the top part we're going to work off camera because it's super easy. Okay, so I have my 70 chains, and carefully, without your chain twisting, okay, make sure your chain does not twist, we're going to work a slip stitch in the first chain that we worked. Okay, so work a slip stitch to join. So now we have a big circle. Now I'm going to chain only one, and I'm going to start crocheting in the first stitch right here where I worked my slip stitch. And as my chart says, okay, my setup, I need by working 11 stitches in the beginning. So we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each of the first 11 chains. So yarn over once, okay, starting from the first stitch right over here, work 1, next chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this is the first half of the back of the project. Okay, so I'm working the 11th stitch again. Okay, so my 11th stitch, so I have 11 half double crochet. Okay, then I need to work an increase. So right in the next chain, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet in the very same stitch. And I'm going to put a stitch marker just so I know that in the chain 2 space I am always going to be working my increases. Okay, so put a stitch marker. And what my setup says is that I need to continue with 11 stitches. So keep working 1 half double crochet in each of the next 11 stitches, and this will be my sleeve. Okay, starting from the next chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So right after the 11th stitch, I'm going to work again my increase. So in the next chain, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet in the same chain. And again, in the chain 2 space, I'm going to attach a stitch marker so I know in the next row where to work my increases. So always in the chain 2 space, add a stitch marker. So now my setup says that I'm going to continue with 22 stitches, and this is the front piece. Okay, so starting from the next chain, work 1 half double crochet in each of the next 22 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep working 1 stitch in every chain for a total of 22 half double crochet. I have worked my 22 half double crochet. Okay, now we're going to continue with our increase. So in the next chain, I'm going to work my increase again. I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet in the same chain. put a stitch marker in the chain 2 space, and after the front piece I'm going to continue with 11 stitches again, which is my other sleeve. So starting from the next chain, work 11 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and my last chain 11. So after the 11 half double crochet, again work your increase. In the next chain, work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet in the same chain. So put your last stitch marker, because this is the last increase that we're going to work. Okay, and now go ahead and work the last 11 stitches to complete the row. Starting from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and my last stitch right here, 11. Now put your hook in the chain 1 that we worked to begin the row. So put your hook in that chain 1 and work a slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 1 so my work doesn't frog, so we can see what we have so far. So what we have worked here is a rectangle. Okay. So right here I have my front piece, which was my 22 stitches, my back piece, where if you add the 11 and the 11 you have 22 stitches here as well. Here I have my 11 stitches for the sleeve and the 11 stitches for the other sleeve. Now in every new row that we start, we are going to have 2 extra stitches on every side of our rectangle. Well, when you start right here, you can have only 1 extra plus 1 extra on the other side when you come. So when you add them together, you have 2 extra stitches. 2 extra stitches for the sleeve, because you work 1 increase here and 1 here, so you add 1 stitch on each side. 2 extra stitches here and 2 here. So in row 2, I had 11 half double crochet, so now I'm going to have 12. And when I come back here, I'm going to have another 12, so I'm going to have a total of 24 stitches for the back side. So this is an extra 2 in total that I had compared to row 1. So the 22 stitches from the front are going to become 24 as well. The 11 stitches from the sleeve are going to become 13, and 13 on the other side as well. So let's start. The most important thing, other than that we have 2 extra stitches in every new row, is that in every row that you start, you're going to be turning your work to crochet on the other direction. And the reason that we do this is because we want to have a straight seam on the back. If you do not turn your work, your seam is going to be diagonal and it's going to look very, very bad on your project. So chain 1, yarn over 1, and start crocheting from the first stitch, which is this one over here. This hole over here is our slip stitch, so we never crochet into that stitch. Always start from here, because every time that we turn our work to start the new row, The loop that belongs to each stitch is on the top left. So as you can see, this is the first half double crochet, so this right here is the loop that belongs to it. Okay, so start crocheting your 12 stitches starting from the first stitch. 1, next stitch, 2. So what we're doing, we're crocheting 1 half double crochet in every stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the stitch right before the increase, 12. So now take out your stitch marker and in the chain 2 space work the same steps. So work 1 half double crochet. Let me tighten up the loop. So in the chain 2 space work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet under the same chain space. So go ahead and put again your stitch marker in the chain 2 space. And now we're going to continue with the sleeve, so we're going to have a total of 13 stitches, starting from the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the last stitch before the increase, 13. Take out the stitch marker. And again, in the chain 2 space, work the same steps. 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet under the same chain space. Now put again your stitch marker in the same chain 2 space. Okay, and now we are right here to crochet the front part, which we are going to have a total of 24 half double crochet starting from the first stitch. Okay, again starting from the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and keep crocheting up until the stitch right before the increase in here for a total of 24 half double crochet. I have worked my 24 half double crochet. Now take out the stitch marker again, and in the chain 2 space again work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 more half double crochet under the same chain space. Again, put your stitch marker in the chain 2 space, and again we're going to continue with the sleeve now. Again, we're going to have a total of 13 half double crochet starting from the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and my last stitch 13. Now again, to work the last increase for the row, in the chain 2 space, again work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1 half double crochet under the same chain 2 space. Attach your stitch marker again in the chain 2. Okay, and finish the row for the last half for the back part. So we're going to work a total of 12 stitches starting from the first half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last stitch right over here, 12. Okay, now again put your hook in the chain 1 that we work in the beginning of the row and work a slip stitch to complete the row. So this is what we have so far. Okay, now keep crocheting increases in the same exact way as we were doing for the first 2 rows. Don't forget that in every new row you have 2 extra stitches on each side. Okay, and keep crocheting increases up until the total width of the chest is as I mentioned on the chart, or even better, take the measurements of the person that you're crocheting for, divide it by 2. Okay, and that's the width of the chest that you want. Okay, take the chest circumference of the person that you're crocheting for. That's even better than just by following a chart, okay, because each person has different measurements. But if you don't have the person that you're crocheting for, sorry, you can go ahead and follow the measurements from the chart. So you want the total width from the one side to the other to be those measurements, and the armhole opening, you want to have the correct measurements for the armhole opening as well. And you don't want to measure when you have it open like this. You want to fold it, because this is how we're going to close the top part when we finish working the increases. And you want to measure from here to here. This is the arm opening, and you want to have the total measurements that I have in the chart. Okay, and this is the chest right over here. So keep working up until you have those measurements. Once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to close to work the sleeve, how to close to create the sleeve, sorry, and how to continue from there on. I have completed crocheting the top part of my project, and I have worked a total of 15 rows. And let's see the measurements. I want the total width of the chest to be 37 centimeters, and it's exact from stitch marker to stitch marker is exactly 37, and the armhole depth is at 14 and a half, so we're about okay to the measurements that we need. Okay, now what I'm going to show in the zoomed out video that I have now, and then I'm going to zoom in so we can see what we're going to be working. So this is where I have stopped crocheting. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing on your project as well. So this was my last half double crochet. Okay, I worked a slip stitch on that first chain, chain 1, and turn your work as you always do in every row. Once you have turned your work, fold it in half. And now I'm going to start working 1 half double crochet in every stitch, and I'm going to close the sleeves. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So chain 1 and start working 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Now once I've reached the half double crochet that's right before the chain 2 space, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to continue. I've crocheted 1 half double crochet in every stitch. I've reached my chain 2 space, so I'm going to take out the stitch marker. I am going to work 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space. Then I'm going to take out the stitch marker of the back piece, and I'm going to yarn over once, put my hook in the front chain 2 space and in the back chain 2 space as well. Grab the yarn, pull it under both chain 2 spaces, grab yarn, pull through all of the 3 loops. So I close the sleeve by working 1 half double crochet. Once you have done that, turn your work on the back side and work 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space of the back side. Okay, so what we just did is we closed for the sleeve by joining the 2 chain 2 spaces. So we worked 1 half double crochet in the front chain 2 space, then 1 half double crochet to join the 2 sides, and then we turned to the back and worked 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space in the back. Now from here on, now this is the front side of our project, work 1 half double crochet in every stitch up until again you reach the stitch marker, where I'm going to turn my video back on to join for the other sleeve. Okay, so start working from the next half double crochet and work 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Okay, so once I reach down here, I'm going to turn my video back on. I have worked 1 half double crochet in every stitch from the one side to the other, and I have reached my other stitch marker, okay, my chain 2 space to join for the other sleeve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my stitch marker. I'm going to work 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space. Then I'm going to take out the stitch marker of the back piece of the back chain 2 space. I'm going to put my hook in the chain 2 space in the front, in the chain 2 space in the back, and I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through both chain 2 spaces. Then grab the yarn and pull through all of the 3 loops to close the 2 sides together, so we have our other sleeve. Now once you have done that, turn your work to the back and work 1 more half double crochet in the chain 2 space in the back. Okay, so what we just did was to crochet 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space in the front, 1 half double crochet through both chain 2 spaces, and then we turned to the back and we worked 1 half double crochet in the chain 2 space in the back. Now starting to crochet from the next stitch right here, work 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Okay, once I reach the end right over here, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to continue off camera again. I have completed crocheting 1 stitch in every stitch. Now put your hook in that first chain that we always work to start a row with and work a slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work and keep working 1 half double crochet all around. Okay, so from here on we're going to continue off camera. Okay, this is what we have at this point. Sorry. So this is what we have at this point. We close the sleeves, see the one side and the other, and now we're not going to work any more increases. We are only going to be working 1 half double crochet in every stitch around to complete the body of our project. Okay, in every row, please do not forget that you need to turn your work and crochet in the opposite direction. This way we have a straight seam back here on our project. Okay, so this is where you're going to crochet now. Once you finish with your slip stitch, you're going to turn your work and start crocheting on the other side. Okay, now from the chart that I have in the beginning of my video, we know that for this size, for a 10-year-old, I need the back from the neck to the waist to be 35 centimeters. So this you're going to measure from here, from the neck to the bottom. We don't want to measure from the shoulder, okay? I want to measure from the neck, and I have about 13 centimeters at this point. So I'm going to keep crocheting for the body of my project up until I reach the 35 centimeters. Once I reach my 35 centimeters, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how to continue.